I'm here at the National Gallery in Singapore, where 10 agri-food tech startups are about to go on stage and pitch at the GROW Impact Accelerator Demo Day. But what are investors looking for from early stage founders and founding teams? And what makes a great pitch?
Really is about the ability of the founder to tell a story, and if they're not getting their message across clearly, if I can't understand what they're talking about, what the business opportunity is, the potential of the technology, and I really get lost. And so, I'm not going to be interested to pursue that founder and find out more.
A great pitch is the one that tells you in the very beginning what they do, and they do it very clearly, like in a couple of sentences, and we are a company that does this. That is great. And one that will explain very quickly why they can make money and why they are different to the competition.
In our opinion, I think a great pitch is a balancing act between understanding what you do and who you're pitching to. I think it's important to be masters of facts, but at the same time also register your relevant experience and address your audience's challenges. I would say avoid pitching, as a single person in a team pitch. Often teams that have a senior person doing all the talking appear less trustworthy than one where there's chemistry between the team members that are pitching.
We're looking for founder market fit. We want to see some background or experience that individual brings to that particular segment of the market that they're trying to solve. Why that person should be the person to solve the challenge.
It's good to add a personal touch. Especially if you're pitching to, for example, if you're pitching to an audience in a developed market, but your story is about the developing markets, about smallholder farmers, then it might be good to bring your audience who might not be very familiar with the market you're trying to impact directly. Bring them on a journey with you. Tell them a story. When you tell them a story, that engages them, that brings out the emotional aspects of your pitch, and it engages, it draws your audience with you on this journey.
We do believe that the entrepreneur needs to have their own way of doing things and thinking about things. For us, we want to avoid entrepreneurs who don't know what they don't know. I think that's something
yes.
We're trying to avoid when we go out there, look for the right entrepreneurs to support. But at the same time, we do encourage entrepreneurs to based on perspectives, advice from different directions, filter through all this advice and perspectives, come up with the right pathway to be successful.
I think what's really important is authenticity. So I really like to see founders that are very open, very authentic about the way they pitch. It might be rehearsed, it might be really well structured, but they still bring some of their personality and some of their passion and some of their real stories, some of their learnings as well, including the mistakes that they made along the way and what they have learned from that.
I really like to be taken on a journey, Elaine. So a confident pitch, whoever's doing the pitch or the founder needs to be really able to tell a story and to build this narrative around their business so that it gets me excited and interested. They have to have a history of having done something really exceptional, whether that be research, whether that be a previous startup, just something that really sort of indicates to me that these are really special individuals and people that I should be taking an interest in.
We expect founders who pitch to us to know their market size, market specifics very well, even if they're at the very beginning of their journey. That's something that they can and are able to learn through either desk research or asking around.
Yeah, the big picture is great, but ultimately it's your ability to get that technology or product into consumers' hands. So we really want to drill into the ability of that founder to drive adoption of their technology or the adoption of their product in the marketplace. So understanding how they're going to get to revenue, how quickly they're going to get to revenue is really important.
If it's a founding team, we like this framework of a builder and a persuader. So sometimes it's the same person, sometimes it's two different persons or even three different people. But the founding team needs to have this component of building, of actually knowing their technology, being able to do R&D or science or scale up, and then also ability to actually pitch, not only to investors, actually to customers as well, to other employees, to bring talent. And in very rare cases, especially in deep tech startups, this is the same person. More often, these are two separate people with a little bit different backgrounds. Generally, listening skills are very important, but I think we also like to see the founders who have strong conviction. So it's a balancing act between being open and listen when it's really necessary, but not necessarily deviating from their conviction.
Be honest and open about the potential risks and challenges, often being defensive, too defensive, or evasive in your responses. I think those are things that erode trust in your pitch and undermine the credibility of your team.
So we've heard a little bit about what makes a great pitch, but what kind of things in a pitch tend to raise alarm bells with investors?
So I think what would raise red flags for me would be overinflated numbers. Whether that's when a founder is communicating his TAM or potentially the revenues in first years, or even the sort of 5-year projections. If it's just really unrealistic, then that's perhaps something that I would be a little bit more sort of critical or cautious about. If the founder is non-receptive and unwilling to even take sort of constructive criticism, then obviously that's going to be a challenging conversation and not the basis for a strong relationship moving forward.
I would say the first one is they don't explain immediately what they are doing. And you have to figure it out in the middle of the pitch, like, what? That's a really bad one. And the other one is when they just tell you, oh, we're a big market, and this is a big market, and we're going to get 10% market share on this. And you're like, that's bad.
My pet peeve when I listen to a pitch is the founder being unable to address how he or she can capture the market share that they say that they're going to get. More often than not, founders are going to say, oh, we've got the multi-billion-dollar TAM or SAM or SOM, but when you ask your follow-up question, which is, so can you tell me how you're going to grow your business into a multi-million-dollar business from the market size that you've just described? They can't.
It worries me if a founding team doesn't take very well to advices. As a venture fund, we pride ourselves a lot on building and fostering a very harmonious and collaborative spirit between the founders that we are investing in. I think it's great that founding team have some sort of independent and ability to make informed decisions, but at the same time, there should be some sort of willingness and openness to take in inputs, digest these, and take those that are relevant and helpful for the business. So overall, I say it is an issue for us, and often we would flag companies that are not very open to listening to advices. I think the lack of coachability is an issue for us.
Startup land, it is really, really challenging. It's very, very difficult. And you're going to come across situations that you haven't come across before. And that's where your investors can be a really useful resource. So the inability of a founder to take advice or to not seek out advice is a real concern for investors.
In the first few conversations, if you start to have a sense that the founder has very fixed ideas, he or she has very fixed ideas of how to do things, you get the sense that he or she may not be very receptive. To me, I think that is a red flag. You're going to be on this emotional journey with this founder for the next few years. You've got to be you've got to like each other. You've got to like working with each other. And if it's someone who's really not very receptive at the onset, very likely the person is not going to be receptive to ideas down the road.
It can be difficult. I know it's hard, the old saying about people would have a greater fear of public speaking than they do of death. So it is a really hard thing to do, but it's part of the startup world. It's what you've got to do in order to raise money. So.